Tonight, we are talking about so much. We're talking about U.S. service members injured in Iraq, rockets fired to a U.S. base. We're talking about who Kamala Harris is going to pick for her running mate. Not that it's going to matter. We're going to talk about Kamala's stock market crash. All that and so much more right after this.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
We don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street. There's nobody anywhere seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad.
Wait a minute. You ain't heard nothing yet. Wait a minute, I tell you. You ain't heard nothing.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore!
I'm mad as hell! I'm not going to take it anymore!
I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to
I'm not going to take it anymore!
I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore!
Well, welcome back to an exciting David Pollack show. Puppet Carlson is not here today. That puppet, he can't show up for work anymore. This is what happens when you have a sidekick that's a puppet. He goes to puppet conventions to go meet puppet girls. He has that manhole he's got to do things with. Now he's like on vacation again. So, guys, listen. Dealing with puppets is difficult. Ask anybody who works in the Biden administration. They're unreliable. Sometimes they have to go, to Martha's Vineyard or wherever they go, Delaware. Puppets are challenging. He's not with me tonight. I'm missing my puppet, but that's okay. Did this for a year and a half without him, and I can do it another night without him too, puppet. But I hope you're having a really good time, and the audience misses you. They're already asking about you. I don't think they like me anymore. I think they really just like you. So we're a little late tonight. I apologize to my audience. When you have technical issues, you got to deal with it. I want to bring you the perfect show, so we want to make sure the technology is there. Guys, here's what's going on around the world right now, and I'm sure everybody has woke up this morning. They looked at their stock market app or whatever. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you don't have any money in stocks, and so you don't care about what happened today. But for the first time, I believe in history, that the NASDAQ was down over 1,000 points in one day. The Dow closing over 1,000 points down, a 6% loss in one day. Now, maybe 6% doesn't sound like a lot to you, but if you're of retirement age and you're thinking about retiring next month and you just lost 6% of $1 million or whatever's in your retirement account, do that math. People lost a lot of money today. Crypto markets were down as well, although they're bouncing back. So my Bitcoin people out there are like, hell yeah. And you had some buying opportunities earlier. I think it was around 46,000 per coin. Now it's back up to like 55 or so. So if you were into crypto markets are more secure than our traditional markets today. Who knows if the sell-off is going to continue? It's not just the United States. It's around the world. Inflation fears. There's a lot going on that have people concerned. The Middle East. We haven't even talked about the Middle East. There was a couple of high-profile assassinations. Some Israel took credit for. Some they have denied. Either way, the axis of resistance, which are the groups out there in the Middle East, Hezbollah and Hamas and all the other groups, and like the Houthis in Yemen, They are all coordinating attacks against Israel and apparently the U.S. interests. A base was struck today. 2 U.S. service members were injured, or I think more than just 2. I think a few service members were injured. There's a significant escalation. Airlines have pulled flights out of the area. Countries are warning their citizens not to travel there. So there is huge escalations. And even right now, Iranian state TV, and I might even be able to put it up for you guys if I have the video here. I don't have it. Iranian state TV is showing videos of cities across Israel and across the Middle East, just videos of it on live cams. People think a strike is imminent. So we haven't even talked about that and that's effect on the economy. If you remember last time we had a big pullback, it was after Iran launched the series of drones and rockets over at Israel. The U.S. has moved assets into the region. So there's a lot going on in the Middle East. These are very serious times. And of course, the unelected, always selected Kamala Harris is picking her VP. So the Democrats have a potential to have a ticket of people that they never even voted for, nor do they even want to, really. And so Kamala's picking a running mate. A lot of people think it's going to be Governor Shapiro out of Pennsylvania. It's a very important swing state, but it could also be Governor Walz. Some people saw black limousines leaving his house earlier, so thinking it could be him. But there's reason to be concerned about both of those, and I'll talk about it later. I know MAGA is really excited, thinking we have the momentum, but our work's ahead of us. I'm going to show you some videos later during the panel discussion. These vice president picks are dangerous, and I don't mean dangerous like Joe Biden still who knows where he is dangerous when the world's about to go to hell. I mean dangerous like I think people are going to like him, and that's not good. A lot of Republicans are still soft on J.D. Vance, although Mitt Romney hates J.D. Vance, which makes me like J.D. Vance a hell of a lot more. So we're going to talk about all of that later on the panel discussion. But before I do that, I want to bring in my guest for tonight. I'm very excited. I met this guy drinking water. Right? This is how we meet people in our movement. I'm at the Turning Point Faith Summit. It was called the Believer Summit out in West Palm Beach. Had a great time. Ali Leger was there with me. Shell, she's on the space here listening on X. She was there with me. We had a great time. And we're drinking some great water. Tasted clean. I'm like, this is great stuff. And it had a great brand. It said Freedom 2.0. I'm like, oh, that sounds American. I'm going to drink this water, like liberal tears. So I'm having a good time. And then I meet the guy who owns the company, and he's even cooler than the water. So I'm like, you know what? You got to come on my show, and we got to tell the world about your water. And so I want to welcome to the show my new friend. And here, I'm not going to screw up your name, brother. I promise. Cyrus Tagetsuan.
Hey, thanks, David. Thanks for having me, man. Dude, I love this intro. It's awesome. A lot of energy.
Thank you. I try to bring the heat. So people are like, oh, not a boring political show. No, you get all of David Pollock. I'm sorry you're missing the puppet tonight. Like I said, puppets are hard to like children.
I think he showed up in the comments somewhere. I swear.
Did he? Oh, is he in the comments? I gotta go see the comments. Oh,
Puppet Carlson.
Oh, see, let me open my chat. Oh, there he's right there. Puppet's backstage in the comments. Here, I'll show it for everybody at home. See there? Look, there's Puppet. He's right there for everybody. Hey, Puppet. I don't know where he is. And Jared Silver's in the comment. Now, Jared, I'm gonna put his comment up here because he says something nice about me too. So Jared and I go back and forth with each other a little bit. He's spicy. He's spicy. He has a lot of opinions. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't, but he does. He holds his own opinions, and I respect that. And I appreciate you watching the show, Jared. Thank you so much for watching. He says I'm better than NBC Nightly News, and I agree.
Yeah, I agree with him.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I should moderate the next debate between Trump and Kamala.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about your water brand, because it's fantastic. And if you guys haven't heard about it yet, you should. And if you've been to any Turning Point event, you should. Freedom 2.0 is a water brand that you created. Oh, now I didn't even introduce you. Remember, we went through before the show. He and I went back and forth like, how do you want me to introduce you? He's like, just I'm a guy who loves freedom. But he's also like a serial entrepreneur, a VC. He's had a lot of tremendously successful companies. This guy doesn't lose. And now that's why I'm super excited about Freedom 2.0, because I know it's going to be successful. Tell us a little bit about where Freedom 2.0 came from, the concept of it's, patriotic water. Who can't get behind that? Go ahead, tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you still butchered my introduction because after all that, I was like, dude, I'm just a red-blooded American.
Oh, red-blooded American. Sorry, I had it written down here. I missed it. Red-blooded American. Fine, you got it.
Yeah, so I've built a bunch of businesses before, sold a few of them, and I really wanted to do something a little bit more meaningful and tangible, especially in the times of what's happening in our economy, our our politics. And one of the things that really bothered me is censorship. I was never, about censorship. I believe moderation is another form of censorship. So I'm all about protecting 1A, 2A, 2, for those out there, getting to know me a little bit. But so I looked into what are the necessities into being free. I believe in freedoms. I believe in liberty. I believe in protecting the freedoms of our citizens. And the two fundamental aspects of being free is freedom of speech and water, being able to drink water. I mean, those are the two fundamental commodities of life, in my opinion. So our motto is literally speak your thirst, protect the first. So we've combined freedom of speech and a platform to protect our freedoms of speech. I'll get into that more a little later. Along with very good clean water. We do things to our water that no other company has done before, which is why you love the taste of our water. It was very hydrating. So we like to hydrate the nation's spirit of all the loving Americans, one bottle at a time. And God bless.
Yeah, and I love it because what do they say? The Republicans are you're the party of dirty water, dirty air, and pushing grandma off a cliff. But obviously that's not true. Trump brags about preserving the environment and water quality while he was president, and
immaculate clean water,
immaculate clean water, and now you've bottled immaculate clean water. And what's cool about it, and it is really look, guys, I drank like 7 bottles of it at Turning Point. Funny thing, I'm going to do tangents, right? We do tangents.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm at the Believer Summit, and look, I didn't realize it would be a dry event, right? So, I'm looking for a drink, and they got this bar, and I walk up to the bar, and I'm like, oh, cool, you guys got drinks. There were mocktails. I'm like, oh, mocktails. So anyway, so all I was drinking was your water. I'm like, I should have known, right? Anyhow, but yeah, it was great tasting water. But what I loved not only about the quality of the water, I loved the messaging behind it, as you just mentioned, and you guys are giving back too, I believe, for the cause. I mean, this is not just water; it's also a purpose, right?
Yeah. I mean, our mission is really to protect the First Amendment. So every bottle of water comes with a label and a saying, things that the media or the left don't want us talking about, they want to silence us on. So we like to express ourselves boldly. And what we do is we have a QR code on every bottle, which if you scan it, will take you to a discussion forum we have on our site, on our platform. And you could have a uncensored conversation around topics such as drink this water, move to Canada is one of our labels, one of my favorites. And I'm so tired of hearing celebrities say, hey, if so-and-so wins the election, I'm going to leave America. Well, hey, if America sucks so bad, why aren't you leaving? And if so-and-so does win, who's going to hold them accountable to leave? What they're doing, though, is they're weaponizing these celebrities as propaganda to start impacting and brainwashing the youth and Gen Z to start thinking, oh, that's my favorite celebrity. Yeah, if so-and-so does win, I am going to leave America. And we're kind of vacating, the nation's constitution and rights and civil rights and everything we fought for to bring these freedoms that we have today and be able to enjoy them. And I think that that's lost. And really the media, the left, they're weaponizing certain things and we want to talk about them. So we take a humorous approach, using a little bit of like satire and fun words to kind of start a conversation. And whether if you're left, right, conservative or liberal, whatever it is, you have the right to speak, and it should be a conversation, and we should hold, a civil discourse, meaning that, hey, I say this is actually one of our bottles too. My rights do not end when your feelings begin.
Yeah.
Right. So like, hey, yeah, like if you say something I disagree with, that's fine, but that should invoke more conversation rather than, hey, I'm just going to dismiss you or get triggered and yell you or cancel you, which has been happening over the past 10 years. It's been a travesty of our nation, and we want to bring what made us so great back, especially with the First Amendment. There's a reason why it was the first. Yeah,
and so many people now are becoming aware and of the people behind the products they buy. I mean, it's honestly their fault. For the longest time, we would just go and buy things not knowing what the parent company believed in or not believed in. It was like, whatever, I'm going to Target. I don't feel like going to Walmart. And then they started inserting politics into everything they did with business. We remember with Target pushing the liberal narratives, and everyone all of a sudden was like, wait a second, and Bud Light being the most famous one with Dylan Mulvaney. And like, why is this person on my thing? Anyway, but now people are becoming aware of these brands, and you have Public Square. And you're familiar with Public Square. And
Yeah,
they,
we can find us in Public Square too. Yeah.
yeah,
You love
Public
Public Square.
Square. And if you guys don't know, and we've had Michael Seifert on the show, he's a good friend. Public Square, they tell you where you can actually go and support conservative brands. And now we're in a place where, okay, fine, we're going to support conservative brands, but your options to support conservative brands are limited. And that's why I love companies like yours so much, is because now you're going and saying, hey, we're giving you an option to support the things you believe in, and not going and doing business with people who don't believe in your values. And one of the, I won't even call them a competitor, because I've had their water. It comes in a nice can. But I was interested to learn that Liquid Death is not necessarily the best company. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's cool water, I'm drinking it in a can. But tell me, what is the deal with Liquid Death? Because you told me something about it that I was shocked to find out.
Yeah, I'm still shocked today. So I happen to know the guys at Liquid Death. I love their marketing and how they kind of started off at first. But quickly, I started to realize that they were doing some things that didn't align with my ethics and morals, right? So it was something that I really couldn't get behind long term. And it's that they're literally Satan worshiping, and not just in like some like funny marketing way. They hired a Satanist to curse their water, legitimately curse their water. They filmed it. They make you sell your soul, an eternal soul, in a binding contract to join their club. And at first, I think you got like a free can of water, but you're literally signing like a legally binding contract on DocuSign to join their club by selling your external soul. And it's like that type of rhetoric, it could be damaging to our youth, right? And this is what the youth like. They like these young, edgy brands like Liquid Death, Red Bull, Monster, or whatever. And that's part of the thing. But that's part of the market. We saw that there was a void for a young, youthful brand that's energetic, cool, like Red Bull, Monster, or Liquid Death, that the youth could get behind, but something that promoted a positive message, something that had some ethics and morals behind it. Where we say this all the time: we're built, not bought. We're not bought by VCs. We don't, have random people investing in us, or we have to. We're not playing both sides like Coca-Cola or Pepsi. Both donate to the left and the right, or companies like Fiji Water, they exclusively only donate to the left, right? So we say who we are. We don't try to trick anybody. We just want to make good quality water, and kind of put those good vibes back into the world, and also kind of changing the perception of Republicans, because like typically when you think of like a Republican, you think like a hillbilly, or tall white guy with a red tie and wearing a suit, right? But I'm a Republican, and I'm proud to say it. And there's so many others out there, and I feel like that, like you said, people are awakening over the past few years, and because of all the cancelization that's happened to the right and what's happening to Trump, people are a little timid or scared. And I'm just like, screw that. Let's just all be loud. Let's get loud. Let's be unapologetically ourselves. Our tagline is literally the unapologetic water. Say what's on your mind. Keep respect, keep kindness. You don't have to be not kind if you want to speak your mind. But that's what we believe in. So I felt like there was a void. There was tons of brands like Liquid Death that were kind of like grifting on this like marketing, but had a bad message, underlying message. So we're like, hey, let's do something a little better for Americans and give them an option. Like you said, we live in a corporatocracy these days, right? So voting at the polls are maybe not as effective as voting with your dollars, because the lobbyists then go and lobby to get certain people get elected or whatever. So if you're believing in conservative values and you believe in traditional family values, like I believe in having water at a dinner table with a family, father, mother, kids all together. That's like a dying tradition in America, and that's what made America great. So if you believe in those values, and we're not trying to push diabetes or anything like that, so all our water is super clean, no fluoride, you're not going to turn gay, and I'm just joking. But like
here I have when I drink water, I'm always like, is this the sip that's going to do it for me?
Yeah. So we take all those harsh chemicals and heavy metals out of it, and we use good rPET bottles. They're biodegradable. We're plastic neutral. So we actually care about the environment too. Doesn't mean just because I'm Republican that I don't care about the environment. Now, yeah, climate control, the way that's been weaponized, it doesn't happen the way people are saying it is, because climate is supposed to change and it's changed over hundreds of thousands of years. However, it doesn't mean that, we should still be reckless and pollute. So we do our part to stay carbon neutral and plastic neutral, and just have good clean water. And one thing I'll say that makes our water really different is we infuse it with 432 hertz frequencies, first of its kind in retail. And the science behind it is really cool. So there's been research done, and you could try this at home. Like anybody listening to this, you could try this at home to see the science. You could do it with water or a loaf of bread. If you speak positive words to it over a month, if you leave water out or bread, it will still hold its shape and look clear, and the bread will look fine. If you speak negative words to it over a month, it will start to kind of mold. And it sounds foo-foo and like spiritual and all the like voodoo stuff, but it's not. There's been rooted science behind this. So when I started looking into it, I started understanding that the frequency of Earth is 432 hertz. And music, when we used to play music in the States, it was all tuned to 432 hertz until about 1940 or 50. For some reason, we changed it to 440. And I have my conspiracy theories on why that change happened. Spoiler alert, to program us, to brainwash us, to control us, to keep us down. But if you take the Earth's natural frequency at 432 hertz, our body is 70% water. So our molecular structure of our water in our bodies is tuned to 432 hertz. If you infuse the water with 432 hertz and you drink it, the mitochondria in your cells, it absorbs the water like magnesium. That's actually how you get hydrated. This is why you love the water. There was actually a lot of people that had headaches or, they weren't feeling well that came to us and said, we drank your water and we feel a lot better. Yeah, because that's the science behind it, the 432 hertz. So we're not just hey, we built a water and we believe in Republicans and buy our water because we're Republicans. I mean, that's part of the story, but we could do what we do because we back it up with science and really good, clean water. We go through a 7-step filtration process on top of this. It's sustainable water. It has no fluoride, no chemicals, no heavy metals, and it's infused with 432 hertz goodness, which will hydrate you.
Wow. Yeah. Listen, guys, and I agree, I have drank a ton of this water, and I can tell you it does taste great, and it does hydrate you. I've had that experience. This company is not a sponsor of mine. They did not pay me to come on this show. I met them at an event. I loved his mission. I loved his brand, and I loved his water, and I wanted to invite him here. So what you hear him telling you guys, I can vouch for it. It really
thanks, man.
Product, and I believe in what you're doing, and I want everybody to know.
It's really good effing water. Try it.
Really good. You should put that on the next. Show everybody the bottle because it is good branding. It is good bottle. The next one.
All right, so hey, I have something. Okay, you could recognize us. We're probably the only water brand that has a red cap, right? But I brought something special for your show because you can find us. So every bottle has a different label, and that label has a different saying. So we have things like "This water ain't sleepy" or "Bottled with liberal tears," or and we go both sides too. One says "Ask Cheney," by George W. Bush, because it's just funny. Because I remember when I was younger, every time we would ask Bush something, he would just be like, "Well, I got to ask Cheney." Or "Vote early, vote often," something that the Democrats used to say back in the day. It's like, what do you mean vote early and often? Well, what does that even mean?
We know.
Now we know what it means. Yeah. So this is actually the first prototype that we made. So you could see that it looks a little different, and we actually have, it says inaugural edition #1. So this is how all the magic happened. I have some of the other water in the other room. I'll bring it back after the break.
Yeah.
So everybody could see what it looks like. But you could identify us with the red cap, and fun sayings on the side.
I love it. I'm excited. And like I said, guys, check out the brand. What's the website for everyone can go if they want to order? Where do they get? Yeah, if they want to get your water, where do they get it, man?
Yeah, so we're on Walmart, Amazon, and our website, and we're coming to grocery stores near you by the end of the year, starting of next year. So we're expanding. We just started this about 6 months ago, and we blew up really fast. Like David said, we met at Turning Point. We're the official water sponsor of Turning Point and all of Charlie Kirk's Prove Me Wrong tours. At the campus tours, you probably see our water. The college kids and Charlie drinks our water, and he loves our water too. Shout out Charlie, love you, man. Thanks for everything that you've done for us. But he also, believes in our mission, which is protecting the First Amendment. So you can find us on our website, freedom20.com. That's two, the letter O. I mean, we also have, if you do 20, it'll redirect you there, but it's like an H2O, so freedom20. That was the play on words. Or you can find us on Amazon or Walmart, and it'll get shipped right directly to your doorstep.
That's fantastic. All right, cool. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a quick break, and you're going to stick around because we got some politics to talk about, right? Heard my intro. With all that energy, we got to talk about the world falling apart and the Harris. I'm calling it, by the way, the Harris-Biden administration now. I'm not calling it the Biden-Harris. It's the Harris-Biden administration because she's trying to hide from the fact that she's been at Biden's side for all of this meltdown. And so she's not hiding from it anymore. So the Harris-Biden administration has us in a precarious situation with the stock market, with global wars and everything else. So we're going to talk about that right after the break. So you'll stick around with us?
Yeah, see you soon, man.
I'm excited. We got actually a very special guest panelist tonight that actually met at a different political event. I just meet people at events. I love everybody. So and so I'm excited for her to be on the panel. I'm not going to tell you who it is. You're going to have to figure it out after the break. So don't go anywhere. The David Pollack Show will be right back.
Friends, David Pollack here. If you're craving the best soft serve ice cream around, Topper's Creamery's got you covered. Serving the Apopka community for over a decade, Topper's is known for the finest old-fashioned custard-style soft-serve ice cream in a variety of flavors, from their French vanilla bean to exciting specials like German chocolate cake. But the experience doesn't end there. Be sure to grab a fresh baked waffle cone or a sundae topped with my favorite, the fresh baked brownies. They even offer pup cups for your four-legged friends. So hurry in to Topper's Creamery in Apopka, South 512 Hunt Club Road. Make sure to tell them David sent you.
With today's economic environment, it's never been more important to secure your hard-earned wealth for you and your family's future. FinSec Life works to offer industry-leading customer service to help successful individuals and businesses protect their wealth. Whether it's a business succession plan, estate liquidity, or a variety of life and long-term care policies, FinSec Life can help deliver peace of mind, knowing that if something happens, you or your company is taken care of. Visit finseclife.com. That's FINSEC life.com. Securities offered through Valmark Security Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Valmark Advisors Inc., an SEC-registered investment advisor. FinSec Life is a separate entity from Valmark Securities Inc. and Valmark Advisors Inc.
Business owners, are you sick of dealing with those big-name telecommunications companies that leave you frustrated with terrible customer service and then lock you into long-term contracts? That's why I want to introduce you to my friends over at Public Telephone Company. They are an industry-leading VoIP provider offering all-in-one business communication solutions that are completely contract-free with competitive pricing. But perhaps the best part, they're all about supporting their customers with US-based customer service, and they're always willing to go the extra mile. Don't let your phone company drive you mad. Call Public Telephone Company today at 877-314-4080 or visit them at publictelephonecompany.com. That's publictelephonecompany.com.
No Patriots.
All right, we're back, guys. Cyrus is still with us. We're talking about, yeah, we like that little groovy mix. So when I was on the radio, we'll talk through the groovy mix. Welcome back to the David Pollack Show. We're grooving out with Freedom 2.0. Now, so when I was on the radio, there you go.
This one's fun too.
Yes.
Yeah, if you freeze our water, it won't make a snowflake. I'm just kidding.
When I was on the radio, I used to say, because I started on the radio, so all the fans have been with me from the beginning. I started on the radio, and I always said I had the best soundtrack in conservative broadcasting. And of course, I can't use licensed music anymore. I need to get a band to just make me a bunch of licensed music. But anyway, so I found all these groovy tracks though, and that's one of them, right? So anyway, welcome back. We are going to bring our panel in. So if this is your first time watching the show, I know you're going to be a big fan now and always watch the show. So what we do is we have our interview, we get our break. I need to redo my commercials. It's in process. And then we bring in our panel. And so tonight we have a very special panel for you, Cyrus. Usually I'm like, hey, Puppet, guess what we have coming on? He's like, who do we have? And I'm like, oh, we have, but he's not here. Instead, he's in comments. And by the way, here's what he said. Where's Puppet? Puppet says, here he says, Puppet doesn't do dry events, by the way. He was really upset That was but so anyway, I'm gonna tell you who we have. Our very first special panelist tonight. You guys might know her as Lindsey Graham, maybe you're not. Not the bad Lindsey Graham from South Carolina. This is the good Lindsey Graham from Arizona. Or you might know her as Patriot Barbie. Welcome to the panel on the David Pollack Show.
I was watching Cyrus's face to see if he was like, "Yeah, Patriot Barbie," and
I remember.
he seemed very in content with either way.
He didn't want to share the spotlight. I think that's what it was.
This was your moment to shine, right? Yeah, exactly.
My gosh, I wish right now more than anything that I had a Freedom Water sitting here and I'd be like, "Guess who's on board?"
Yeah,
because I've gotten some. I got some when you first came out.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Send me a DM and then I'll send you another case.
Okay.
Look at that. Look at that. Connecting.
I want water curated by conspiracy theorists. Nothing makes me happier.
Yeah. That don't make you gay, apparently.
I was seriously laughing behind the stage when you said, "Well, that doesn't make you gay," and I was like, literally, yes, it's a thing.
Yeah, it is. Apparently, like, that's what happened in France. If you watch the opening, I think what happened was they all had a lot of like gay water, and then they had a totally different opening plan, and then it just went totally sideways. I think.
Oh,
very important to drink. Your
Freedom 2.0 should be the official water of the U.S. Olympics next time.
Yeah, we should do it, and we should be the official water of the RNC. Somehow they're still drinking Fiji water. This is me calling out the RNC right now.
That's it.
Wink, wink.
Laura Trump, you heard it. You heard it. We got to get some of that in there.
Did she?
Well, she's okay. You know, giving her a little bit of a break. She's the new regime that just came in, so she might not have known. But they've been buying Fiji water in Dasani, which is again, they're literally funding the other side with our donations. So hit me up.
I'm probably buying it at Target too.
Water.
Yeah, and Dasani is the grossest water ever on the planet, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm allowed to have an opinion about water. And Dasani water, in my opinion, is it's like it tastes like Coca-Cola without the Coca-Cola part. It's just carbonated, nasty machine water. I don't like it. Your water tastes clean. I feel like Popeye eating spinach when I drink your water. I feel like
oh my word, David, you're not being paid for this.
No, not yet. Not yet. You better believe
you
I'm
are a champion.
DM after this show and be like,
yeah,
hey,
but next time.
Yeah. All right.
How much water did you sell? I want in.
I got to bring in our next panelist, and she is a regular on the show. You guys might know her as Liberty Valkyrie. I call her Heather. I don't know why. I guess because that was your handle for a while, or why do I call you Heather?
That is my technical @ is Liberty Valkyrie, but my name is Heather 007.
Okay, so I call her Heather. That's why I call her Heather. I have good reasons for it. She's a regular panelist on the show. She's an Army veteran, Air Force veteran, mechanic, badass woman, big Second Amendment proponent. Almost got me banned on YouTube for showing her brand new guns on the show. And we love having her here. She works hard for the cause of getting Republicans registered, vote, and elected, and we appreciate her having on the show. Welcome, Heather.
And I am super pumped because I would like to consider myself a bit of a water connoisseur. I have a Berkey, so I am super, super pumped about trying this Freedom Water. And you better believe that I am going to tag the RNC to let them know to get rid of that garbage. Absolute garbage. But when you told me that the hurts and all that, I'm one of those, I call myself the most hippie conservative you will meet. I just bought a grounding sheet for my bed so that I can be grounded when I sleep.
That's great.
I'm pumped. And when I heard about your water and all that.
Oh, it was nice meeting you, Heather. Yeah, for sure. We're made for one another. Absolutely. So.
I love it.
Look at this family.
Is this a dating show now?
Well, it is. It's like
I'm married. I'm sorry.
Okay. We're made for each other. No, just
it
give
can
me
be
water. Because I want to just drink your water.
Yeah, exactly. We're just all going to drink water. Nothing funny business is going on here. Nobody's becoming gay unless you already are, and nobody is dating married people on this show. All right.
Fluoride turns frogs gay.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Kamala or Iran. I want to talk about all the crazy conspiracy theorists and how everything's turning us gay. That's what I want to talk about.
I really
and I want to know about how to ground my bed because I've never heard that.
The frequencies. So here's the thing. Before I get started on these clips, and look, I'm going to run long tonight, guys. I'm sorry because I love these people and I want to get to the topics, but I also want to make sure that I can promote Lindsay's new project because I met her at well, we've known each other through social media, but we met in person. Tangent. Do you guys remember that song, I'm So Much Cooler Online? I forget who sang that.
Yes, Brad Paisley.
Brad Paisley.
Oh, wow. She's on it.
You guys remember this? It was about like this guy who had his whole life online, but in real life, it was totally different.
Yeah.
The point I'm getting to here is I know people online and I know them in real life, and they're just as cool in real life. And Lindsey Graham is one of them. Heather's another. Cyrus, I met you in person. You're cool online too.
I was hoping that was where the story was going when you started with I'm much cooler online.
Well, you never know, right? You can take any direction.
True.
But Lindsay, I met you at the in real life at the Orange County GOP Lincoln dinner. We were lucky enough to be seated next to each other. You got to share a table with Miss Kat Kamek, who went on my friend's space. Mr. Corey Mills, the hero, was at our table, and then Byron Donalds was right next to us. So we were like surrounded by really cool people.
Yeah.
And but your table was especially cool. Everybody was like dressed to the nines. You guys look like movie stars. And so I look over and I'm like, you guys look like movie stars. Who are you? And then I learned about we the studios. And we're going to have a whole show dedicated to you guys because I love what you guys are doing. You're basically making an unwoke Netflix, and you're working with them. And I was hoping you could tell the audience really quickly about that, and then we'll get into the clips.
Yeah. So the elevator pitch is it's not a political platform like Daily Wire or I can't even think of another one right now. Not to trash them, but that's just not what it is. Everyone's looking for literally Netflix, right? I want to be entertained. I want to watch reality shows. I want to watch cooking shows. I want to watch home shows and remodel shows and fishing shows, normal shows. But now if you watch them on TV, there's just wokeness like embedded in everything. There's always a token this and a token that and a subliminal message. And you can't leave it on and leave your kids in the room and trust that something isn't going to be said or done on the side when you're not there. In fact, we don't even have Netflix. Haven't for a while, but we just have like the Fire Stick, right? And during Pride Month, there was like just stuff splashed all over the screen, ads. I was like, I just turned on the TV. I didn't pick anything. And there it is. Like, do I literally have to throw my TV out the window? So we're creating content that is Hollywood. I mean, it is Hollywood. These, the owners, Curtis and Kara, they are Hollywood producers. He was a producer for movies. She was a producer on hundreds and hundreds of TV commercials and reality shows in Hollywood. So they just got sick of it. We partnered up and we cast a bunch of icons. We call them icons instead of stars that are in the conservative movement. And the goal is to showcase them not as conservatives, but just you're the icon and the content that we're going to create around you. For example, Tito Ortiz. It's not about his political status. He's literally on a deep sea boat teaching guys how to fish. Tito versus the sea monsters. So like, man, they took their millions of dollars of cameras out on a ship and they filmed Tito, fishing with guys. And the quality is amazing. So long story short, it's non-woke entertainment. It's not politically charged either way. It's just, you want to be entertained and you just kind of want to take a break from all this crap that we're dealing with. You would go to We The Studios, stream. They have an app. They are already live and accepting memberships. It's $17.76 for the rest of the year. Yeah. And there's already multiple series that are in production right now. So it's going to be so good. It's going to revolutionize this movement.
Love it. I love it. And that's why I wanted to make sure we got that out there. I mean, look, when I go to these events so I can meet people that are like-minded, because in our world, we kind of have to walk around like, I don't know, I can't tell anybody what my politics are because I'll get this, I'll get that. I mean, I do, but it's not. When you're at these events, you could just walk around and be like, Trump! And you don't have to worry about hit with a milkshake. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could just, it's really nice. And then I meet people in the movement that are putting their own treasure up to help build businesses to serve conservatives and all Americans. And I love it. And so that's why I want to make sure that I platform as many people as I can, because I love what you guys are doing. So
thanks,
all
David.
I was talking, you guys are actually doing stuff, right?
Well, I have an encouraging story for you. So we had our launch party on Tuesday of last week in Orlando, Florida.
I live in Orlando. Where was my invitation? Did it get lost in the mail? What I mean, did it like the mailman see it and go, "Oh, I'm a liberal mailman. I'm not going to deliver it to conservative Dave." or what happened? Like, did some Freedom 2.0 spill on it and it brushed off the address? So I'm giving you a lot of good excuses.
No, it's this behavior right now. It's this behavior right now that didn't get you invited.
This behavior.
Here, I'll tell you what. You guys have another launch party and include David. I'll send all the water.
Yeah. Wait, what if we don't include David? You and I can talk, Cyrus. Why can't we just?
I'm gonna put you
I can do the
backstage.
security. If you guys
Heather
need
can
it.
come.
I
All
can do
right,
the
David, you're
security.
in. You're in. We kept it top secret until literally launch. Like no press releases. We couldn't talk about it. You'll go back. You will not see it anywhere on my Instagram. Top secret.
I just met you. I didn't expect an invitation.
I know. Well, you will get the next one.
All right,
but
good.
we went out after the launch party. We went out in public, and I was wearing like literally a red, white, and blue Star Spangled Banner. It said, "We the Studios train," and the whole bar. When we went like traipsing through the whole bar to go to the bathroom, people were like, "Fight, fight!" It was so cool. The whole restaurant was like, "Whatever you're doing, we are in." They were all like, I'm just say they were all MAGA. It was wild. I was like, the tables have turned. There was not that many glares.
I'm here for it. All right, what do you guys want to talk about? Because listen, I could chat. This is the coolest. You guys are awesome. I mean, I can chat with you guys all day, and this is why we're all friends. What do you guys want to talk about first? Do you guys want to talk about the stock market? Do you want to talk about Kamala's possible VP pick? Or do you want to talk about Iran? This is like one of those books, remember? You're like, do you want to turn to page 7 if you go through the door? Or do you want to go to page 16 if you don't go through the door? What do you guys want to talk about? I'm going to leave it. Who wants to pick? First person who picks gets
Whoever
it.
I'm pointing out.
No,
Come on.
You picked Heather. Heather, what are we talking about today?
Oh, come on. Okay, well, can I just throw something out there for now until election day?
Mm-hmm.
You should only refer to Kamala as Kamila. Spell it as Kami-la. I've been doing it for the last month. It kind of is taken off. And I think that we just need to refer to her as who she is.
Yep.
All right.
She's
Well, you pick
Kamala.
Kamala.
Done.
You pick. And now look, Kamala. It's Kamala. You're not saying it right. You're racist. It's no. I say however I want to say it. Okay. My name's David Pollock. I was called Pollock my whole life. If I don't get to mispronounce other people's names, there is no balance in the world. There is no 462 megahertz frequency, whatever, in my world, unless I get to mispronounce people's names. Okay. And
Deal.
And
The
numbers.
thing is you got to have
Apparently.
respect for somebody to want to, not hurt their feelings. And I could give two, what
that's
about
right.
that woman?
I don't care. The
So-
border. She hadn't been to the border, and she's the border czar. I don't
Wow.
care what her damn name is. Go to the
Heather,
border.
Heather had her Freedom 2.0 today.
Oh,
Unapologetically
Heather has it every
speaking.
day.
She gets it injected into her veins. All right, let's talk about Kamala. Kamala.
Kamila.
Kami.
Kamila.
All right, let's talk
Kamala.
about it. All right, so here's the deal. I'm going to set this up, and I'm going to play a couple of clips for you. So a lot of people think there are 2 possible picks. It's narrowed down to 2. She's having a rally tomorrow in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia. Now, over the weekend, you might have remembered the mayor of Philadelphia leaked a video congratulating Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania for becoming the vice presidential nominee. Everyone thinks, oh, wait, that's the guy, right? And then the Governor Waltz of, what is it, Minnesota? Is it Minnesota? Anyway, some governor from the Midwest somewhere out there. He is the other contender. This was today at Waltz. They said, look, there's limos leaving Governor Waltz's house. It must mean he's the pick. Let me tell you something real quick, guys. And this is the 2 video clips I'm going to set up. I'm concerned about either one of these picks. I'm going to show you why. Now, let me go with Waltz first. I'm actually the most concerned about Waltz, and here's why.
Governor Walz here out at the State Fair with my daughter.
Hope.
Every year we as a family do something old and something new. I get to pick something, a classic, the old mill ride, to do that. And then Hope gets to pick something new,
I think we're gonna go do the slingshot.
which I don't know what it is, and they're keeping it from me. But then we're gonna go get some food, corn dog,
I'm vegetarian.
turkey then. And then
Turkey's meat.
not in Minnesota, turkey special. And we will go do some of those things and report back.
Oh my God. Yes!
Now, here's also Governor Walz.
Should Minnesota be a sanctuary state?
If the definition of that is that the federal government enforces immigration law and local law enforcement enforces local law, then yes.
Should cities be allowed to be sanctuary cities?
Yes, local control.
So,
it almost looks like an Indian acting like a black person.
Well, ish. But here's the deal.
I love her.
That video you saw of him being folksy with his daughter, she's or granddaughter or whatever that was. Is that her daughter? Anyway,
I think it's a daughter.
His daughter. The girl in the video. Oh, I'm vegetarian. Now you'll eat turkey. And then he's going on this slingshot ride. He seemed very relatable, right? Like I even laughed a little bit. I'm like, oh, that guy seems not so bad. Then I show you a video of him thinking sanctuary cities are okay. But meanwhile, we have the border czar for 39 months straight. She still hasn't even been to the border, and they have the highest border crossings yet still coming across our border. And this guy believes in sanctuary cities, right? But he's folksy. The media has given Kamala Harris the Obama treatment. Whoever the vice president pick is going to be, they're going to be given the Obama treatment, meaning the video I just showed you is going to make a lot of people like him versus the way they portrayed J.D. Vance. And let me show you Josh Shapiro, Governor Shapiro, who is the other potential nominee.
The Philadelphia Inquirer is writing on a 1993 college article you wrote where you expressed skepticism about a two-state solution. I understand you do support a two-state solution now. Can you kind of just talk about that evolution?
Something I wrote when I was 20? Is that what you're talking about? I was 20. Look, I have said for years, long before October 7th, that I favor a two-state solution. Israelis and Palestinians living peacefully side by side, being able to determine their own futures and their own destinies, being able to work as they want and worship as they want, and understand the power of living peacefully side by side and how that will. When he's on the stage, he kind of meanders over, can't really walk well, and he goes over to the flag and he hugs the flag. I love the flag, but it's a weird thing he does, right? But while he's hugging the flag, you know what he's doing? He's ripping away our freedoms. That's what he's all about, because here's what I know. It's not freedom to tell our children what books they're allowed to read. That's not freedom.
So that is the other potential vice presidential nominee. Now, Shapiro's a little bit more fiery, but he is compelling. I'm worried more about Walz because he would probably draw a more blue-collar type, Midwestern American swing state type voter. And so we're all laughing at Kamala because she's Kamala. But these can actually pose serious threats when compared to the way media is going to treat J.G. Vance. So I want to go around the room and get your take on what you think. I'm going to go to you first, Patriot Barbie.
Ooh, I love it. Ooh, I get to say all the things, and then they're going to have to try to come up with new stuff. Good.
No, I agree.
We're all thinking the same thing, which is, he's going to try to come in and act like this good old boy down home. I'm a family man. I go to the carnival. And I instinctively already look at him as he looks like a hunter. He looks like a gun owner. He looks like, a conservative type man. And so I think that is somehow one of them is a show. One of them is hardcore sanctuary state. But that same guy that should be worried about the sanctuary states should be worried about what those illegal immigrants are going to do to his daughter, Hope. So which guy are we really getting? But I am concerned that anyone that's in the middle that's even thinking of Kamala that might be conservative would lean towards him. That second guy pissed me off too much with his making fun of Trump. Don't even say in a sentence, this guy can barely walk. When he said that, I literally thought he was making fun of Biden. You're making fun of Trump? Don't ever say Trump can't walk when you are a Biden supporter. That's ridiculous. That's my take.
Heather.
Well, I think Shapiro has a ton of skeletons in his closet that are slowly being leaked out. And there's some good ones. I mean, they're not good for the people that he's harmed or good for the people that had to pull out restraining orders against him. That stuff's not good. You know what I mean? But I think that as they're going through the vetting process, Shapiro is Jewish and Walz is relatable. So she has Problem is Kamala has so many different sides that she has to pull to garner something that's going to be of substance. And so, are you going to pick Shapiro with the skeletons in his closet, who's a fiery speaker, which people actually do like? It gets you fired up. Why do you think we love Trump and JD Vance? They may say some things that hurt people's feelings, but at the same time, what they're saying isn't false. It's true, and it's the way that they put it. So Shapiro's going to be fiery, and he's going to maybe clinch some of the battleground states because that shows her allegiance, or she's going to choose the other guy who's a little bit more relatable. But at the end of the day, DEI picks always show their true colors. She is picking between white males.
I love that. That is a point that I can't believe I didn't make.
You know
That's
what
amazing.
I mean? Like, why isn't there a Latina woman up there? Why isn't there somebody from Asia? But no, what does she do? Because she needs the political point. She picks the two old white dudes. Well, Shapiro's not that old.
Cyrus, what's your thought on it?
Well, first of all, it's a little hard to respect somebody who thinks that the food pyramid consists of turkey being a vegetable. So like that just completely out of the window for me. I think we need to start talking about what we're going to do to make this nation great again, or start putting us in that trajectory. Talking about, turkey being vegetarians or I don't know, whatever the hell they were saying, or the rhetoric around sanctuary states and having people, the immigrants. We need to take care of our people. I still haven't seen retribution for Ohio, that disaster with the train chemical. That just kind of drifted off into the sunset. And my heart still goes out to the families and the people that are affected by that. So I want to see somebody come in and be able to hold a candle and be able to speak to certain topics that are going to make, but it's not, because Heather, you said that she has a little strings to pull. Well, she's being pulled in a lot of ways. So ultimately, I don't even know if it's her decision that's making the pick. But
good point.
So right now, we just, this is what I'll say. Y'all out there that are listening, critically think, right? So if you're watching something and you see like a puff piece on Kamala or whoever else it is, go look at a few other pieces. Maybe like if you're watching something on CNN, go watch on Fox, right? We pick those two because they're like the most common, but make up your own mind by looking at different media formats and presentations, and you'll see the truth. The truth will be glaring and staring you in the face. But just don't take something and regurgitate it just because CNN said so. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I think you make a great point about somebody else pulling the strings, because she is like literally DEI. That's her whole platform. So she would have picked either another female that actually was black, or she would have picked, some kind of minority trans person.
Somebody from the alphabet army.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, it's all excellent points, and yeah, you're right, Heather, about the who did she pick. I think if it was me, and this is why I think she's going to pick Shapiro. If it was me, I'd pick Waltz, because that would probably be the most uniting type pick. That would be the person that would appeal to the middle of the road RFK type voter, never Trump voter, who was like, I really don't like Kamala, but you know what, this vice president guy, people usually don't vote the bottom of the ticket. The point being, if you remember the John McCain Sarah Palin situation, where people like Palin more than they like McCain, and that was a losing ticket. The similar thing will happen here. But that being said, they're going to pick Shapiro because I would think Walt seems more reasonable just in the way he carries himself. And they're not a party of reasonable people. Now, if they pick Waltz, I'm concerned, because I would have picked JD Vance. I mean, I would have picked Ben Carson. I've had show after show about it. A lot of people say he was sleepy. Oh, he doesn't have the energy. Fine. A lot of people like Ben Carson. They respect him. He's always been loyal to MAGA. I think JD Vance, look, I like the guy. I think he can deliver a message of, hey, I didn't like Trump. I like him now. But he's not doing that. He's not going around the country convincing people who didn't like Trump to like Trump. He's making people like Trump less. So it's proving not to be a good thing. And so we're really going to have to hope that whoever the vice presidential pick is, JD can go toe-to-toe with him and really not detract from Trump's campaign, because that's the last thing we need right now. Good conversation. I'm going to go quickly on this next one because I know I've had you guys on a long time. I think I'm going to go to the stock market today, because the Middle East, we're going to have to talk about that a lot. and I don't think we have enough time to cover everything that's going on. We're just, for our viewers, should know that a lot of people believe that there's an attack imminent from Iran into Israel. There's also has been an escalation between Lebanon launching rockets into various places, and I don't know where the strike on the Iraqi base originated, but it was Iran supported groups. So all of this is leading to a very tense situation in the Middle East, something we're going to have to keep an eye on. But I want to talk about the stock market today because this is a big deal and this hits everybody in the wallet. Plus, our guy Cyrus right there knows a little bit about the markets and money, even though his bio piece that he's most proud of is Red-Blooded American, and I think we all agree. But I want to talk about the stock market a little bit because this is what happened today.
History in the making. Don't say that.
We have never been down 1,000 points ever, not even intraday on the NASDAQ.
Is that true?
That is true.
Okay. Down 6% right from the get-go. This is heavy big tech. Here we go. Look at them go down. Microsoft is down $20. That's 5%. Alphabet, 5%. Meta, 6%. Amazon, 6%. Apple, 9% down. Let's pull out Apple. This is interesting. A question for you.
So, yeah. I think the Dow finished today over 1,000 points down. As I mentioned in the open, Bitcoin dropped a little bit, but came back up. I think it's somewhere around 55 right now, 1,000 per coin. Down, I think it was down at like 47 or 48 at its lowest point. But the markets are panicking right now. The Fed has not lowered rates. They've talked about having to lower rates. There's unemployment has ticked up to the highest level since 21, and this is the largest drop since 2020. So people are panicking right now. I think the volatility index, the VIX, which tells you how afraid people are, it was like somewhere around 75, which is huge. It's usually around like 12 or 13. So there is a lot of fear selling going on right now, but there's also a lot of fear fundamentals that people should be worried about. And what happened in the United States is just a sample of what's happening around the world and will continue to happen overnight. Cyrus, I'll go to you first. What's going on? Is this economy going to hell, or are people just reacting?
I think it's a little bit of both. So the first thing is we've printed so much money over the past 5 years. Back down to like right before COVID, we're sitting around like 70 cents on the dollar. So we've lost 30% there. Inflation's been going crazy, and the Fed's reluctant to reduce rates. But I kind of agree with them to reduce rates because that's going to create more issues down the line. But it's going to be a painful period. And I think we've been kind of sweeping all the issues under the rug. I actually think the unemployment rates have been worse over the years, and we've just been hiding it because now the way we report a recession or unemployment rates, like there is no consistency in the reporting. So this was a news to me, to be honest. Understanding of crypto and the reason why crypto bounced back, if you understand the economics of cryptocurrencies where you have a finite supply and you don't have a central entity that could be corrupt, that could print more money at a whim, I think there is a little bit of I think you mentioned this earlier, like who would have thought that crypto is a little bit less volatile and safer. But we actually put Bitcoin on one of our labels because as the founders here at Freedom 2.0, we really believe in free market and having less government intervention or Federal Reserve intervention in our economics and money. Here's the thing I'm most worried about that no one's talking about. So I'm a recovering economist. That's what I studied in college and in my MBA. And the thing I'm most afraid about is actually the other inflation word, deflation. And this really plagued Japan in the 80s. And the biggest drop in the Japanese stock market was reminiscent back in like, I think 87 or 86 when they were going through this deflation. And essentially this is what's happening. Prices are getting so outrageous. People's income is coming down. I think it's something ridiculous. Only like 10% of Americans make over $170,000 a year, right? And $175,000 or whatever it is, that's not a lot of money to live on in today's Bidenomics or Biden economy. And what's going to happen is all the money is starting to funnel towards the top, but the celebrities or the top, they don't pay for anything usually, right? Because they get sponsored by all these brands and they give them all the free stuff. So I actually don't think we have a lot of money flowing through the system. There is stale money. And just like water, if money doesn't flow, it starts to stink, right? And when it starts to stink, the value starts to drop. And what happens is when people start saying, well, hey, if the value of these prices will start to drop, right? I'm not going to spend my money because I'm going to wait for prices to come down, right? And that's happening. I hear a lot of people who are looking to buy a home that are not buying a home. And even though we hear all of these stories of the real estate market's hot, or just talk to your friends. No one's buying shit, right? And this is what I learned from Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett said, hey, when you're out there and you're going to invest in a stock, don't listen to these technical analysis and all this mumbo jumbo that all these people, they were the reason why we're in this shithole in the first place, creating all these crazy derivatives that no one understood, mortgage-backed securities, collateral debt obligations, mortgage swaps, credit default swaps. No one understands this stuff, right? And some people made money off of that, but just ask your average American, your neighbor, what are they buying? What are they doing? And you're going to hear there's no money flowing anywhere. No one's buying real estate. So I'm worried about deflation and a crash in these prices. And that might not be what's priced into this fall. But as people start understanding economics and pricing, and if the Federal Reserve doesn't drop prices, I could see a fear of deflation settling in. And I don't think could be something that's just a one-time blip. Right. I think this could really roll into next year, depending on who wins the party. That being said, Trump. Let's go, Trump.
Yeah.
That could be a big catalyst into the markets. The guy is a proven successful businessman. He's had sound fundamentals, and he's had a big smear campaign about how he's run his businesses and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, he's run his businesses. He's gotten to where it is. He knows how to balance a budget, unlike Trudeau. He's like, the budget would balance itself, and not Trump. We haven't had a president that's balanced the budget. I mean, I guess since Clinton, but it's been a while. We've been going to deficit a lot, and I feel like Trump, with his now pro Bitcoin rhetoric, and then starting to pay down the debt, we need to hear people talking about that. These are longer systemic problems we're going to have if we don't talk about things. Prices going up and down, that's what markets do. They go up, they go down. Bitcoin has been going up and down. Amazon has been even more volatile if you go look at the stats since its beginning than Bitcoin. But everybody's like, oh my God, I lost 10, 20% of my portfolio. Yeah, it happens. Stay strong. The economy has traditionally done well. Bitcoin has traditionally done well. Be smart, but talk to people, because they will tell you, the everyday Americans will tell you where they're spending the money, if they're spending the money, if they have jobs, or if they can afford to buy anything. And then, like Warren Buffett said, he's one of my mentors, when it came to investments. Follow what your friends and family are doing.
Heather, what do you think?
Excuse me.
That much.
One, I think a year ago, was it, that the Harris-Biden administration was trying to say we weren't heading into a recession. Just about a year ago from now. So I want to tell Janet Yellen she's an idiot, something that we all already knew, but we've seen this coming. And this is another pattern of the Harris-Biden administration. They always play defense, never ever offense. Look at what happened in Afghanistan. I get it. I'm a veteran. I served 15 years. I was deployed in theater multiple times. I understand the terrain. I understand the jargon. I understand the Taliban a little bit. That being said, it didn't take a rocket science to see what was leading up to what happened. And the baby food formula, again, that was another defensive move. We knew that this was happening. Biden ignored it. Everything that's going on with the economy and the stock market in particular, we've seen it. We've been shouting at them about it, and they've been calling us crazy while changing language again, which is their favorite thing to do, to change definitions and change what words mean so it can completely fit their narrative. So I kind of want to just be like, I told you so, but I don't want to be like, I told you so, because that's a horrible thing to say when people are suffering financially.
No.
Yep.
Your Barbie. Last words going to you.
All right. Well, I'm not a recovering economist, not even close. I was sort of starting to daze out. I'm trying to understand Cyrus's awesome intelligence there, but I am a business owner. So this is scary because we talk about the millions and millions of dollars between Microsoft and Amazon and tech and all that. But what about the little people, right? If people aren't spending their money, then, all of our money is technically everyone else's money, spending it in small increments with us. So that's very terrifying as a business owner, just knowing that. But also I was having a conversation the other day with my husband where I said, it's so interesting. Like, when Trump became president, gas prices dropped and the economy leveled out and all of this amazing stuff happened, but it happened so quickly. Yeah, interest rates dropped so everyone could buy a home. And I was like, it's not like he got into office in 48 hours and like started literally implementing change. I said, I feel like it was the idea that people would know what the economy would do. Those people, right, that are big up there in tech and finance and making all these decisions, they're like, we know what's going to happen if this guy gets in. So they've already prepared. And then by the time he's elected, changes have been made that Trump didn't make. He didn't sign an executive order, lower interest rates on homes, right? The economy did that in reaction to his presidency. So here's what I know for a fact. I know for a fact that this is happening right now. And if Trump were to get elected, which he is, right? The first thing they're going to do is say, well, look, the stock market crashed and interest rate. They're going to literally blame him, even though it's happening on their watch. So I don't know. I think all of this has a lot to do with people getting very scared about what's going to happen in a few months. And I don't know that this reaction is good or bad. I just pray that at least some people can get into the stock market and buy up some stuff and create some very, wealthy, financially fit conservatives that can invest into the parallel economy later.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see how it fills out. I have been thoroughly impressed with this entire conversation tonight. We covered just about everything between water and movies and saving America and the economy. I mean, this was probably the most entertaining, informative hour that anybody's ever going to listen to. So everybody listening, congratulations. You are now smarter and more entertained and educated. You know about water frequency and hydration and economy, and you just know it all. And you got to talk to some really cool patriots in the process. So that's all the time we have for tonight. I want to thank you, Cyrus. I want to thank you, Heather. I want to thank you, Lindsay, Patriot Barbie, for coming on. I really appreciate the conversation. We'll be here same time, same place next week, 8 p.m., if I can get my tech working. And now I'm going into my Twitter space. If anybody wants to join and continue the conversation,